Hi and welcome to the Malat cookery channel. So on the recipe today, ranch chicken pasta. Okay, so this is something a little bit different to your standard pasta meals. What we're actually going to do is a dry rub barbecue chicken in a creamy pasta sauce. Now the spice blend we're going to be using from the Malat range is Texas Ranch barbecue rib and steak rub. And if you don't have access to the Malat range of products, then just choose a really decent dry barbecue rub for this recipe. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video, so let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. Okay, so the ingredients for today, and this is enough ingredients to do 4 adult portions. I've got 280 grams of dried pasta. You can use whatever pasta you like. I would have preferred pen pasta for this particular dish, but we're still in the middle of the coronavirus lockdown, so this is the only pasta I could get. So 280 grams of dried pasta, some olive oil for frying, half a litre of milk, 1 medium white onion which has been diced, 20 grams of unsalted butter, 15 grams of the Malat Texas Ranch barbecue rib and steak rub, or whichever dry rub you're using, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain or all-purpose flour, and 2 medium-sized chicken fillets which I am going to butterfly, which just means that I'm going to slice it through the centre. So the first thing we need to do is to prepare our chicken breast fillet pieces. So as I said, I've already sliced these in half. Just want to add some of our Malat Texas Ranch barbecue dry rub on all sides, so on the front and the back. And then once we've coated these chicken breast fillet pieces thoroughly, I'm going to place them into a food bag, into the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours. If you're thinking ahead regarding this recipe, then overnight would be even better. So while the chicken is marinating in the fridge, we can cook the pasta. So just cook your pasta as per the instructions on the pack. So for this one, 10 minutes, plenty of salted boiling water. I'm going to actually cook this for 9 minutes because I want it to be what's called al dente, which is still, the pasta will still retain a lot of firmness, because once we drain the pasta after it's cooked, I'm going to add it to a sauce which I'll show you how to make in a minute, and it's going to cook further in that pan for a few minutes. The worst thing we can do is actually overcook the pasta at this stage. So into the water, just give the pasta a stir, make sure it's not stuck together, bring it back up to the boil as soon as possible, and as I said, for this one 10 minutes, but I'm going to cook it for 9 minutes, and 9 minutes starts when the water starts to boil again. So the pasta's cooked. Before I drain this, I'm going to take about 100 millilitres of water from the pasta. We're going to be using that for the sauce. So next thing to do, I'm going to drain the pasta and then reserve it to one side while we do the rest of the dish. So our chicken has been marinating now for 2 hours. I've taken the chicken out of the fridge and let it rest for 10 minutes at room temperature before we attempt to cook with it. I've chosen a deep saucepan, deep enough to hold both the sauce that we're going to make and the pasta which we're going to introduce later, because we want to cook everything in one pan and that retains all of the flavour instead of swapping between different pans. So about 4 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan, bringing that up to temperature now. And we just want to add our chicken. So this is a low to medium heat. I want to be really careful with chicken breast meat, especially when we've sliced it thinly, because it's quite delicate. So I always treat chicken breast meat that's prepared like this similar to fish, otherwise it just dries out far too quickly. So low to medium heat. I'm going to be frying this on for 2 minutes on each side, and then I'll show you the next step. So I've just turned the chicken over on its second side for 2 minutes. I just want to explain what I'm going to be doing next. So once this chicken has finished cooking on this side, I'm going to take it out, place it onto a chopping board, cut the fillets down the middle so we end up with 4 pieces, and then slice each fillet just at a slight angle, quite thinly, so we end up with chicken strips. So once we've sliced our chicken breast fillet, that's what we end up with. So the next thing to do, in the pan that we've fried the chicken breast fillet, we've still got all of this amazing flavour. It smells absolutely fantastic. We just want to add in the butter. And just allow that to melt. Just turn the heat up just slightly from cooking that delicate chicken breast fillet. Just get all that butter mixed in. So any bits that we've got on the bottom of the pan, we're going to add the onions next, and that will deglaze the pan and get all of that flavour off the bottom. So in go the onions. Okay, and we're just going to fry these onions for about 4 or 5 minutes, just until they start to soften. So we've got these onions softening now. All that pan's been fully deglazed. All that flavour is in there with the onions. Next thing we want to do is add our flour. And just cook that flour through for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now that flour's cooked through, the next thing we want to do is add the water. Remember the water that we took from the pasta. So I'll just add that to the pan. And then add our milk. Just a little bit at a time. So once we've added all of the milk, and we'll make sure that any of the lumps have been mixed out, next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this pan up to a gentle simmer and simmer the sauce for about 2 or 3 minutes, just stirring occasionally, and then I'll show you the next bit of the process. So after about 3 minutes of simmering this sauce gently, you should see it start to thicken. And then once that happens, we can add in our chicken. And just mix that in. So before we add our pasta, next thing we want to do is just a taste for seasoning. Okay, so just a little bit of salt. And pepper. Going to cook that in now for another minute and then give it another taste. I think that should do it. And then once we're happy with the seasoning, we can then add the cooked pasta that we made earlier. Okay, so I'm happy with the seasoning. Just giving it a second taste. That little bit of seasoning just makes all of the difference. It's really important that we season to taste before we serve. Don't just take it for granted that it's going to be well seasoned because we've put something like a barbecue dry rub in there. So pasta goes in. Just break it up as you place it in because it may have stuck together slightly. Okay, so that's all of the pasta mixed in. So I'm going to leave this now for about 3 or 4 minutes just to come up to temperature. As soon as I start to see the sauce bubbling, then I know it's ready to serve. So there you go, ranch chicken pasta, absolutely delicious and something a little bit different. I can guarantee whoever you make this for will absolutely love it. As usual, please subscribe to the channel, and if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.